So this is a 2021 Zontes 200J bike. As you can see from this plate over here, this is it was manufactured in 2021 and it has a displacement of 200cc. That is 200 ml of displacement, and it is also inscripted on the engine somewhere. I have had this bike for 2.5 years. This was my very first bike to buy. By the time I was buying this bike, I didn't know even how to ride it. So it was delivered to me in a van, which cost me a lot of money anyway during those times. I've had it for about 2.5 years, as I've said, and the experience on this bike has been awesome. Now, while I bought this bike, it was very naked. It didn't have the many accessories that you can see. The first thing that I had to make was this crash bar that I fabricated myself. I actually bought the metal bars and I fabricated this myself. I also attached these accessory lights because this headlight wasn't just enough for riding at night. I also had these hand guards installed. I also had to change the side mirrors into something with a wider vision. I also had to import this windshield over here and also fabricated this attachment. These indicators are also aftermarket. The indicators that came with the bike are these ones, but I had to update to these ones. But as you can see, they are all broken down, they're all broken off. I'm considering replacing these in a few. I also had to do a dual tone horn, because here we have one with low tone and one with a high tone, and they really sound amazing. And one other thing is at the back, I also had to do this bracket here and all these metal parts. That was for number one, for protecting the bike from falls, because I was completely new in this bike, and also for attachment for the top box, which also did not come with the bike. So more about the bike. The longest distance I have done in this bike on one day was from Nairobi to Nyahururu via Gilgil. Then I had about a 3-hour stop. And break, and then proceeded all the way to Nyeri using the Nyahururu-Nyeri route, and all the way to deep down in Mukoroine, which is actually which was my initial destination. I covered that distance in one day. And let me say, that is the place where I achieved the top speed for this bike, which is 127 kilometers per hour. And the experience was actually very amazing. But then I came to realize that this bike is not doing so well in long distance journeys, but for the city riding and city commute and the city hustles, it does very well. Okay, one other thing that I also replaced while this bike was still new is the chain. I updated the chain to a gold color chain, which was a bit of a better quality in terms of being heavy duty. You can see the chain is still looking all new. I updated this chain because the other one was getting stretched after doing a very few kilometers. Now I've just come to realize that my rear tire is almost giving up. The thread level is almost coming to a minimum, so I'll need to put new tires here. Of course, for the rear one, the front one is still very okay. I've also done brake pads. The rear brake pads were also replaced. That was a few months ago, but I can see I still have some sufficient depth left in the pads. The front ones are still the originals that came with the bike. Now let's see how many kilometers I've been able to do with the bike. For those 2.5 years approximately, I have done 24,433 kilometers in total. Which might be considered to be very low, but I was using the bike mostly to commute to work, and majority of the day the bike was just at rest. So it is very early in the morning. It is 11:33 a.m. So I'm going to give this bike a cold start so that you guys can appreciate how well it runs and starts. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Now I did the DRLs yesterday. Let me see if they are still good. And you can see they're still good. They are still good. So enough of that. Now for the pros of this bike. Number one, it is very comfortable. The seat position and the quality of the cushion is very good. The riding height is very good, especially for a beginner, because you'll have to flat foot. You don't have to stand on your toes, which is very risky in times of starting and stopping, and especially when there's busy traffic. Number two, it is very fuel economical. I'm getting 33 to 38 kilometers per liter, but very soon I'm going to do the 1 liter challenge. I'm just going to put 1 liter of fuel into this engine and see how long I'm going to run on it, as in I'm going to cover what distance on it. Number three, it is value for money, because I bought this bike at about 104,000 shillings, 184. That was in 2021, early 2021. So I've had the bike in the whole of 2021 and the whole of 2021, part of this 2023. So at 184 shillings, then it was very economic. It was a value for money, although right now the prices are a bit high. It's almost clocking to the 200k mark, which is expected because of the rising standards of living and rising prices of the various items. Okay. On the pros, we had some substandard items that I had to replace. I didn't like the tone of the horn. The chain was inferior quality, which I had to replace, and of course the bulb, I got rid of the halogen and did the LEDs for the headlight, which is much better. The bike didn't come with many accessories. There were no handguards. The side mirrors were not that good, and I also had to replace that. I had to replace them, as I said earlier. Now on the cons, this is a 5-speed gearbox, and many times I have wished that I had 6-speed, because I'll get myself at about 70 to about 78 kph in gear number 4. So gear number 5 will take me for about 75 kph all the way to 120, which is a very long gear. So the revs are going really up, and now that increases the fuel consumption. Another con that I have on this bike is there is some significant vibration, especially on the foot pegs, and that's the reason why I installed those rubber pieces over there, and also on the handlebars. And after a long distance, you are likely to hear some tingling sensation on your hands and on your feet, but it goes away within a span of about 20 or 30 minutes. The other con that I have on this bike is I did find some cost cuttings in various places, like I have addressed earlier in the video, in those areas that I had to work on and replace. Otherwise, it's a very good bike for city commuting, not so good for long distance and highway speeds. There you feel that the bike is straining too much. But for the daily city commuting and daily city errands, it's a perfect bike. It's a perfect bike. So that's it. I've had this bike for 2.5 years right now, and I'm not thinking about letting it go. However, if I was to upgrade to another bike, then I would upgrade to about a 400cc bike, maybe the KTM 390 Duke, or the KTM or the Domina 400, which comes in 3 variants. There is a variant that is lighter and more nimble. That is the one that I'm targeting for, or 300cc CF motor NK, which is still sold at the same place that I bought this bike, at Beth Mobility. Okay, so guys, in case you need, in case this video has been of interest to you and you might need to acquire this bike, please head over to Beth Mobility on your Facebook account. Just check Beth Mobility on your Facebook. Visit them. Their showroom is just right next to Texas Cancer Center along Ngong Road. Just pay them a visit. They have a number of bikes. You can check one that can suit your needs and of course suit your budget. And along with the bike, I have my very basic toolbox here that has basically all the tools that I require. I do the service myself. I use oil, grade 10 W40. I usually get it from the dealer at about 900 shillings for a liter, and the frequency of changing the oil is 2,000 kilometers. That is fully synthetic, but if you go for mineral oil, then you will do 1,000 kilometers and it costs 450 shillings. So my basic toolbox here, with all the tools that I need in case I need to repair something on the bike. Now the good thing about this bike, it is very reliable. I have not had a single breakdown on this bike for the 2.5 years. And that is enough to close the video. Please guys, like the video, share and subscribe. I really need those subscriptions so that we're able to build this channel.